A huge thanks to Brian for sponsoring this video. Good morning, fellow mathematicians. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, it's gonna be a bit more of a serious tone because I wanted to talk about a few things that sparked discussion in my last video here on this channel, where I said that 85% of my students failed on my test. If you're interested, this right here was the video, and you can find the link down there in the description or up here in the info box. And just for your information, I'm gonna split this video up into a few different chapters, and each and every chapter is gonna take a look at a different point of view. So feel free to switch through the chapters or to watch the whole video, obviously, to get basically a view on all the sides and my side of things and the side of the students and the like. So definitely make sure to go through all of the chapters to see the whole picture in its entirety. And also at the moment, by the way, this channel is being supported on Patreon. It's one of my only income sources at the moment when it comes to YouTube, apart from a tiny bit of AdSense and also Brand. This video has been sponsored by Brand, by the way. So if you want to keep the channel alive and see more videos on a regular basis, then definitely make sure to support the channel on Patreon. It would mean the world to me, and it really helps me being motivated to keep making videos. Other than that, we are now going to dive into the main topic of today's video, namely, have I failed as a teacher? And this is a question you might ask yourself from time to time when you are in my position. As a teacher, maths, physics, doesn't matter what you teach. At some point in time, you're always going to run into a class or maybe a course or maybe just a singular test where you think, why have I taught for an X amount of time here in this class and all they do is fail? Maybe I have failed as a teacher. Maybe it was the class. I'm really not certain. And this is basically what I want to discuss today. Have I failed as a teacher myself when 85% of all students failed my test or exam? And before we dive into all the structural things, all the points of views, I would like to get into a few of the comments that I received on the last video, because there were three camps of people basically. The first camp just saying the funny stuff like, why are they so fucking dumb? This is like the first camp of people. The other one is, hey, the exam is pretty good. It's pretty reasonable. It's not too hard. It's not too easy. It was pretty fine. So yeah, that's the second one. And the third one is the part of people who basically blame everything on the teacher, saying that I am at fault and the like. And there are rarely people who say we have to take both sides into consideration, but since I'm a stranger on the internet, I really can't judge you for anything or take a look at both sides individually, because that's just not possible because you are not in my shoes. So those are the three camps, and let us take a look at the first comment. If I gave an exam that 85% failed, then I was the one who failed them. However, I would consider both sides of this. Were the students really prepared and did my teaching methods work? I had a situation where most of my students did poorly on a homework assignment, so I went back and changed my approach slightly. Worked like a champ as they did better. I did that too in some instances, but I think this is one of the more constructive criticisms or comments that I have read under the video. But there were others too. Let's take a look at another one. The exam can be easy for a lot of people here, but if the average is 2 out of 15 and 85% failed, it means the course did not prepare them for the test. I can see 30% not being attentive or making mistakes, so they fail, but this indicated either too few exercising and homework or lack of check of the homework for motivation or lacking quality of the lesson. More homework and more examples and the test with similar exercises to the homework sheets is what they need. Most students only do their homework, not other things from the internet. You can't ask them something they did not see in class. I would never do so. ask them something that we didn't cover in class. So yeah, this is like the camp of people where this is more of a nice comment. He's just saying, well, maybe something went wrong, but you are probably at fault if so many people failed. I think the biggest issue with the exam is the formal wording of everything. Obviously, that's to be expected with math courses and should be taught well, but sometimes people can be confused on what the question is asking or focus too much on something said just for math completeness that doesn't have much bearing on the problem, even if they do know how to do it. I rather think it is the multiple choice format. It only serves teachers' purposes in theory. You have a simple way to measure misconceptions with no efforts to do mark. This is the fourth camp of people and they annoy the living hell out of me. Those are the people who only have watched like 3 minutes of the video. The multiple choice part was only a small portion. It was pretty insignificant in comparison to the rest of the exercises. I hate the attention span of people nowadays. They don't watch the entire videos and it's just absolutely annoying. So please ignore this guy. This is the I just do exercises syndrome being portrayed. When students are shown an almost entirely theoretical test, fail as fuck. We get to that later. My experience as a high school math teacher in California is similar. A few students, the ones who made an effort, do fine, the rest fail, shrug their shoulders, blame you for not making things easy when in fact the assessment was painfully easy, complain that math gives them anxiety, and demand to know what you'll do to get them the superlative grade to which they feel entitled. I have that with a lot of classes and a lot of students too, because especially I'm working at a private school where the parents pay for the students to be taught there, and I get that a lot. A lot of teachers there get that a lot. That the parents have the reasoning, I'm paying for service here, so my child needs to get good grades. But this is not the case. Your child needs to do something to get good grades. And those were all the comments that I have picked out. I didn't want to get into too many comments and also not the mini ones, because this is not the point of the video. Just want to showcase which basically different sides of commenters we have. But they already highlighted a few things that I would like to talk about. And at first I would like to let's just start with the students' point of view. When it comes to the students, they obviously always wanted to be easy. They wanted all those test questions to be extremely similar or completely similar, one-to-one to the homework exercises that we do or the things in class. But, here's the big but, and this is anywhere in the world and also in Germany. We just can't do this. Here in Germany we have 3 so-called Anforderungsbereiche. The first one is just telling you it's the easiest one to remember stuff and write it out. So remembering things like, what is 6 plus 6? That is 36. This is something that you have in your head, hopefully, and then you just write it out. Or just say, what is a function? A function is this and that. So just writing things out, and those are the easy questions. When it comes to the Abitur, so the highest degree you can get here in Germany when it comes to schools, we have to have a certain percentage of Anforderungsbereich 1, Anforderungsbereich 1 questions inside of an exam or a test. It's about 30%, I think. Then with Anforderungsbereich 2, so this is like the second hardest difficulty, those need to be questions where you need to think a bit further. Like, think of it, the question says, you have 2 points given, name a function which can be uniquely defined by 2 points. And then you need to think, oh, it's a polynomial of the first degree because it has 2 unknowns, for example. Those questions involve things like justifying your answer and thinking outside of the box. And then we have Anforderungsbereich 3, that's the hardest difficulty. It's a so-called Transferleistung. So you need to transfer your knowledge to things which don't implicitly state that you need to calculate it. For example, 3 vectors are given inside of a Cartesian coordinate system, a 3D coordinate system, and they make up a triangle. calculate the circumference of this triangle. So the students need to think further, because all they have given are vectors, but they need to think outside of the box, and they have to say, well, in order for me to calculate the circumference, I have to get all of the side lengths of the triangle. Meaning I need to calculate the absolute value of those vectors, like the modulus. And then I can add all of those moduli together. And then I'm going to get myself the circumference. Things like that. But even more difficult, obviously, because you are trying to get yourself the highest degree possible. And yeah, this basically concludes the student side of things. They don't want things to be too complicated. They have other things to do too. They have to do physics and chemistry, biology, English, German, and the like, all those other things. And obviously, if stuff gets too hard, it's a bit too overwhelming for them at some point. But, here's the big but. And this brings me to the next chapter here in the video. The teacher's side of things. And here's the first one. I cannot spare the students. This is just not something that I can do. Because here in Germany we have a Zentralabitur. Or at least what we have is we have centralized questions that you need to add to the Abitur, Prüfung, to the final exam in your school life. And they have to solve through it. And who do provide those questions? Obviously it's Germany. It's the it's basically the Amt for Bildung, the guys who do all of the educational things, who dictate it. And well, it just is what it is. I do not know what the questions are going to be, just like with every centralized exam. So I need to prepare the students in each and every way to those possible questions. Meaning there's no way I can go easy on them totally. This is just not possible, because if the state says, well, you have to solve this, and then the students say, well, but we never did this in class, who's the one at fault? I'm going to be the one at fault. So, in order for me to counteract that, I'm going to go through the whole curriculum and just teach them everything that I know. And the best thing I can do is to try to bring exercises and also homework assignments into play, such that the students get a better understanding of the problems at hand. And next to those homework assignments, what I can also provide them with are the contents of today's sponsor, Brilliant, who were kind enough to sponsor yet another video here on this channel. Damn, pretty smooth transition, I must say so. But on a serious note though, Brilliant is an amazing source for students, and I'm using Brilliant services on a regular basis in my classes. Be it in analysis that we recently covered with my class, and now the new hot thing is linear algebra. And Brilliant is actually pretty amazing at bringing linear algebra across and all the connections to geometry, like taking this abstract concept of vector spaces and making it more tangible by basically showing vectors as little arrows in space, or maybe in a 2D coordinate system. They're pretty great at what they do, and I'm gonna explain to you a bit further what Brilliant is, and maybe you are gonna be a bit interested in their services too. Maybe you're gonna be curious. Now, Brilliant is an online learning platform and also app with nearly 70 interactive courses in all topics STEM. It doesn't matter what you want to learn today. Want to wrap your head around linear algebra, for example, as mentioned before. It's not a problem at all. Go to the linear algebra section and take a look at linear dependence, for example. What does it mean in an abstract matter, and what does it mean geometrically? What does linear dependence have to do with matrices, and how can you interpret matrices using different vectors stacked together, for example? All of this can be answered over on Brilliant in their amazing courses, and it doesn't stop there. You don't want to learn about linear algebra? Well, doesn't matter, you want to learn about something in physics, for example, or maybe the connection of quantum mechanics to linear algebra and stuff like this. They cover everything, and it's just absolutely amazing to go through their courses, and I can just simply highly recommend it. And as mentioned before, many people, just like my students, are just not an abstract kind of learner. What they want to see are visuals to get easier interpretations of the abstract concepts. And as you were able to see on the screen before, Print is just absolutely amazing in bringing knowledge over to their users by using intuitive graphics and also visuals that you can play around with. It's highly interactive, and that's the most interesting part about the course concept. The highly interactive content that you can use to get a better understanding of the problems at hand. And you don't need to take my word for it. Nay. You can just make use of my link down there at the top of the description, print.org/FlammyMaths, to get free access to the whole landscape of Print for a 30-day free trial. You can also make use of my QR code up there to go over directly to their website and see for yourself what the wonders of Print could provide you with in your STEM journey. And if you feel like, well, the 30-day free trial is just not enough, I want to explore more, maybe I want to turn this into a long-term relationship between myself and Print, then definitely make sure to make complete use of the link. And the first 200 people to do so get 20% of an annual premium subscription, which is a fantastic deal. Adding so much content on a regular basis, and they already have so much content available, you are going to be stacked up with knowledge so much. You are going to be thick with knowledge, thickened up. Like seriously, it's amazing. Check them out and support the channel this way. Now back to the main video. So as mentioned before, the centralized questions don't make it easy for us teachers to prepare them for everything. We just have to try our best. And it gets a bit worse because this is my first time that I'm ever teaching the Oberstufe, like grades 11 to 13. I for myself didn't have an Abitur either, so I never went through the process. I went a totally different route. You can watch my video from Zero to Math Teacher, linked down there in the description too. So there are two main difficulties. First thing is, I never did this shit either. I don't know what an Abitur looks like, what you have to do as a teacher or student either. And the second one is, it's my first time teaching the Oberstufe. So it's not only new for the students, it's also completely new for me. But I'm still trying my best here to prepare the students for everything that could quite possibly come. And here's where the next difficulty comes in, which I think is the greatest hurdle that we need to overcome in this situation. It's the Gesamtschule concept. A Gesamtschule is, think of it like that. In a normal case, you only go up to grade 10 here in Germany and you can get yourself a Realschulabschluss. But if you then decide to go further and do an Abitur, you are going to go through 3 additional years if you are in a Gesamtschule. With a Gymnasium, it's a bit different. There you have 12 years in total, and with grade 12 you are going to stop and you are going to have your Abitur. With the Gesamtschule, it's 1 additional year. But here is where the worst part actually comes in. The Realschulabschluss is to prepare you for basically going into a traineeship, to become a baker, to become a car mechanic and the like. The Realschulabschluss is not there to prepare you for things like abstract thinking and the like. It's just there to prepare you for some basic things like how can you implement linear functions in your daily life to calculate your electricity bills or how to compare stuff and the like. But it's not there for abstract thinking. And that's a problem because the Abitur is all about thinking in a completely abstract manner. And just to give you an example, in the Gesamtschule up until grade 10, we never do logarithms. But suddenly they switch to grade 11. And in grade 11, you need to have a knowledge about logarithms. And we don't have much time to cover all the things in those 3 years because the students have so much lack in their knowledge because we just never taught them. It's just not part of the schulinterne curriculum or the curriculum in general when it comes to Saxony-Anhalt and everywhere else in Germany. With the Realschule, you are not prepared, for example, for logarithms. But starting from grade 11, you are supposed to know about logarithms. And it's not only with logarithms, it's with exponential functions and the like too. So starting from grade 11, you need to know things that you don't know about as a student. And try to be in my shoes. How, as a teacher, are you going to teach the students about a new topic, for example, derivatives of the logarithm, when they have never heard about the logarithm or its properties before. It's horrendous. It's absolutely stupid. But this is just what we are kind of forced to do as teachers. We are not supposed to step too much outside of the box, because with all those parents around and the like, and also the Landesschulamt looking into what we do from time to time, it's just really hard to go outside of the regular curriculum and teach students about things they are not supposed to know, because this is just not what they are there for. 90% of all the students there just want to get a Realschulabschluss, and you can try to basically do a bit of differentiation and try to see, well, this student is better, maybe I'm teaching him logarithms a tiny little bit, but most of the time it's just not possible, because with 23 students you are glad if you can kind of get the knowledge across. And good students, it's hard to differentiate in terms of exercises and additional homework and the like. It's just not as easy said as it is done. It's really hard to get those things going. And this is just one of the situations that we are in. And I'm trying my best to prepare the students for logarithms and the like. But this is where the students are also forced to get their asses off their chairs and go over to a maths book or the internet and try to read into things like logarithms. All I can do is teach them the groundwork, the basics, give them homework assignments and the like. But they need to do their own part, and they need to stop being lazy and force themselves to learn something they haven't learned in class. And this is one of the biggest problems we have in our society right now. People are not resilient. They are just outright lazy, and they are also not willing to learn outside of the constraints that they have in a normal case. They just know, I need to know how to calculate 1 plus 1, but how to calculate the successor of 1 plus 1. This is not something that they want to learn about, no, because it's not explicitly said somewhere. But I, as a teacher, cannot say you don't have to learn this, because due to the centralized exams, there's a probability that certain questions will appear there. And then I'm going to be fucked and the students are going to be fucked. It's just a really hard situation. This is like two of the main problems that we have with the Gesamtschule and just the Abitur in general. But there's also one more thing with this class specifically that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, it's anonymous and the like. But I really like those students. I really like that class. I'm teaching them for my 4th year now in a row. And they're really dear to my heart. But they are lazy fucks, and they are just not willing to learn outside of the things that I provide them, or maybe even learn with the things that I provide them with. And here's just one example. The video before the other video, I covered an exam with like the cylinder being enclosed inside of a cone and the like. And this exam, like the easy version of that, was the regular test that I did in my class. And almost everyone failed. We also had like an 85 to 90% failure rate there. And I was saying, something must be wrong here. I must have failed as a teacher, but this one was so easy. Why did they fail? I provided them with everything. I provide them with so many homework assignments and also exercises during class. And I provide them with all the solutions, handwritten solutions from my side, no stuff out of the internet or anything. I design my own questions and the like. And if I do textbook stuff, I provide them with all the solutions. I never leave them in the dark. I would never do something like this. I did not grade this test. It was completely ungraded. I said, you guys fucked up. I don't know why. next Friday, 1 week from now, we are going to write another test on the same topics. Then the day came and I gave them the exact same test. Nothing changed. And I also, in a tutorial that I did with them on a Monday, I also basically went through the whole test and just went through all the solutions, everything. They knew about everything. Then they took this test, the identical one, and they were basically equally as bad. There was nearly no improvement from the student's side. And you can do with this information whatever you want. But it has been like this for the past 2 years. And you can't tell me that it's all my fault if something like this happens. Especially when I provide them with so many exercises, so many homework assignments and the like. I'm doing my absolute best to provide them with a huge variety of exercises and formats. I'm trying my very best to teach them everything that I know. But today in class, for example, I was going in there and I provided them beforehand with, I counted it, 23 individual exercises, and all of those exercises had sub-exercises too, and all the solutions. Today I went in class and we are doing linear algebra right now. And right at the start, we are doing lessons of 120 minutes. Right at the start, I was asking, how can we verify that a point is part of a line? And I was looking into the crowd and I was seeing no one even tried to do the homework assignments. Nothing. Do you think someone could give me an answer to this question? They did this since 7th grade. This is not something that they do in 12th grade or 13th grade. No, this is 7th grade material. What do? You plug the coordinates into the equation and then see if you get a true statement out. Not a single person could answer me this easy question. And I was formulating it, this question, I was formulating it verbally, just like in my exercises, just like I did it the years prior to this. I could, I'm resignating, seriously. I don't want to shit talk those students because I really, really like them. But I'm not certain what I could do at this point. Maybe you can give me some advice too from a student's perspective or maybe a teacher's perspective. But I'm at a loss at the moment too with this class. And seriously, I'm trying my best all the time. Just like I try my best with this YouTube channel and doing educational stuff, I'm trying my best to do the same for the students and provide them with everything they need to get a successful Abitur. But there's only so much I can do. And the students need to do their part too. They need to do a significant portion and just get their asses off the sofa and start working and start thinking outside the box, not inside of those exercises, outside of the box. They need to learn definitions. They need to learn the intuition behind all of those things like linear dependence and the like, and what it has to do with parallel lines and identical lines, and maybe also shears and crossing lines and the like, and also the whole analysis stuff. Was mostly a bit of rage talking here at the very end, but I need to get this out because people on the internet, I'm not offended, nothing of that sort, but people on the internet always think it's so easy, it's always just black and white, and if 85% of the students fail, then it's my fault. Obviously, it's the teacher's fault, but there are rarely people who try to take a look at both sides and just go into the comment section and ask me personally what could have gone wrong. Have you worked with the class? Did you do homework assignments? People just don't get that idea. They are just going to say you are at fault and that's it. And that's kind of a bit annoying, but just is what is. I know for myself that I'm trying my best to work with the students and to provide them with everything that they need. And I really hope that I can fix all the issues with my class and just, have a better time with them and that they all get the highest degree possible and the best grades possible. And this concludes my little rage talk here. I think I do hope you got some information out. You were able to see a few different sides and perspectives of this whole situation, and I hope you did enjoy today's video. It was a bit lengthy, but I wanted to just get it out. I needed to talk my heart out a bit to you guys, my family, my Flammy. And yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I wish you guys a flammable day. See ya.